In the previous tutorial, /posts/Python tutorial decorators we learned about decorators. Now let's learn about context managers, the mechanism behind the with statement. Let's break it down. How context managers work. A context manager is any object with two methods, __, enter __, and __exit __. When you write with something as name, Python does this. 1. Calls something, __, enter __. The return value is assigned to name 2. Class-based context managers. Here is a timer context manager that measures elapsed time. Use it like this. Here is what happens step by step. 1. Timer, my operation, creates the timer object. 2. __, enter __, is called, records the start time, returns self, assigned to T. 3. Suppressing exceptions. You can create a context manager that catches specific exceptions. Python standard library has contextlib.suppress, which does the same thing. File writer context manager. Here is a practical example that wraps file writing with automatic closing. Even if writer.write raises an error, __exit closes the file. Generator-based context managers. The context manager decorator from contextlib lets you create context managers using generators. This is often simpler than writing a class. The pattern for a context manager is always 1. Setup code before yield 2. Database connection pattern. Context managers are perfect for managing connections. The connection opens on enter and closes on exit. The connection is always closed, even if a query fails. This prevents connection leaks that can exhaust your database connection pool. Nested context managers. You can nest with statements, or use a single with multiple context managers. Python 3.10 plus the second syntax is cleaner and avoids deep nesting. All context managers are entered in order and exited in reverse order, last entered, first exited. Transaction pattern context managers can implement transaction-like behavior that rolls back changes on error. The backup is made before the block runs. If an error occurs, the data is restored to the backup. The exception is re-raised so the caller knows something went wrong. When to use context managers. The rule is simple. If you need setup and cleanup that must always happen, even on error, use a context manager. It is the Pythonic way to manage resources. Class versus generator context manager. Most context managers are simpler with a context manager. Use a class when you need to store state across multiple method calls, or when the context manager is complex enough to benefit from proper class structure. Common mistakes: forgetting to return false, not using finally in generator context managers, yielding multiple times. A context manager generator must yield exactly once. If you need to yield multiple values, yield a tuple or an object. Context managers. In the standard library, Python has many built-in context managers. The with statement is one of Python's most powerful patterns. Once you understand it, you will see opportunities to use it everywhere.